and the president. Now we're gonna also be talking about this particular person by the name or by the a particular person was by voted in the Bronx or somewhere in New York. I expect all of you to more than likely know who this is. A Latina who beat Joe Crowley not very long ago. We're gonna talk about her, and we're gonna talk about a person who she worked with, who was president of the Indo-German Association. I won't be talking about him per se, but mainly about the congresswoman. But I would like to mention that Surya Kumar Bose, who was president of the Indo-German Association, helped her gain prominence in these social media networks. And I'm just gonna give my thoughts on why she is a saboteur, Latinos and Latinas, and other minorities, with the help of the Muslim Brotherhood, which we will talk about in later clips. So she gained prominence through technology, as a lot of things these days end up happening. What ends up happening these days, a lot of people don't even have to get out of the house to buy the things they supposedly want. Like ordering online and from places from a single provider. Probably not a good sign as well. And focus on this for now, and I'm gonna focus on what that might entail for the future. Well, since most people don't even get out of the house to do their shopping, it's very easy to understand that physically and also, in online form. Obviously, physically, this has been happening physically for a while now, Stores closing down, small stores closing down. The only thing available is big shopping malls or mini marts, what have you. And now this is also happening online. Trying to become a small-time business owner is pretty much impossible, or is going to be impossible. By the looks of it, the progressives could care less. Obviously, they more than likely will tell you that they would love, or the right for that matter, or the Republicans will tell you the same thing, that they want small businesses and what have you. These people gained prominence through online marketing and bots or algorithms. This, quite frankly, means that whatever they're doing is a sabotage. Whatever. I mean, I have not heard one thing that these people have done for regular people. They've been in Congress for at least maybe 9 months, somewhere around that time frame. And they have yet to accomplish one thing. The only thing they have accomplished is creating more conflict within the Democratic Party, which I suspect is the point to all this. Now, why do I say that you can't really start your own business anymore? Well, you possibly can, but your business more than likely will have to go through some intermediary that these people have their hand in. So, or not progressives per se, but the business and law professionals who help those types of group gain prominence, such as Surya Kumar Bose, who are fascist friendly. This is obviously another sign of this 1984 plot or blueprint that they're somehow trying to take, and to be obviously having a big smile while doing it. Whatever the case, we shouldn't be surprised more of this type of things coming from them or from other groups. So much of the popularity that she gained through social media was through a heavy investment. Her biggest investment being one of $80,000 and things like promotions on social media and troll farms and other heavy fakeness. So obviously you get something like this trending, you get a lot of people to click and believe a very believable person, supposed believable person. This, of course, happened by destroying Joe Crowley's political life by obviously coming up with certain terms and slogans and memes about the guy, which is what happens these days to, it's a very sad reality that this is happening to young people, that literally the world is divided through memes, fraction through fractions of memes. Me, myself, I never liked memes. They never intellectually challenged me or any of that. There's quite frankly just pictures with text. So not to hate on people who hate memes or anything. I don't care if you like memes or whatever. That's just me. But obviously these things have gained popularity between young people. Luckily, they don't vote as much. Obviously you kind of need, people grow up, they get more experience, knowledge, and all kinds of other nuances that someone may not notice at first, but here we go, right? So this is kind of really becoming a big deal within the Democratic Party, because now the Democratic Party is now seen or being looked at as a party of immigrants or illegal immigrants, or whatever you might want to believe about immigrants. They are exploiting that. So this plays right into the hands of the president, who obviously scapegoats and talks ill of immigrants in general. So this is probably very planned out. This is probably the objective. Nobody really that I know of serious intent takes this Congress movement serious, or any of her friends in Congress, or her followers or whatnot. But inevitably, most voters will take her seriously. But for me personally, I know people more than likely don't. But then again, most people, or a lot of people, not most people, or a lot of people don't vote. So this is going to create a conflict within the party, possibly changing it for the worse, for the most bad part, because all this stuff is not taken serious, and these people in Congress, these new people in Congress, this small amount of people in Congress who the media can't seem to stop talking about will inevitably separate the Democratic Party from maybe even one day ever supporting immigrants, or just creating a more fervor in the Republican Party. There is no just about, the only time I hear about any other person who was elected into Congress, who is a Democrat, the only people you hear about are these supposed progressive people, or these progressive people. I'm sure when they won taking back the House, that there were a lot of people who did vote for Democrats. The quality of those Democrats, though, I do not know. And that's the problem of the media. Why do you pay attention? Why is it that they pay attention to a small group and not those who, but not all of them, or something like of that nature? You could probably figure that one out. So this is, of course, leads to less and less real dialogue, and at the same time, there is a lot of doublethink going on here, because media companies are working together to counter real dialogue by taking the ideas espoused by these people and using them as their own in an effort to dissuade people from getting deep knowledge on a certain subject. Just listen here to my audio and compare with news organizations such as these progressive media sites or media organizations. One very popular news organizations that these progressives and supposed left people go to goes by the name of RT America, and then other organizations or staple organizations like Fox and the like. And just compare what is said here and what is said there. You will understand what doublethink really is. Just recently I saw on the RT America channel and Fox News, or Fox, that they were speaking about one thing I recently talked about, which was saving the planet. If you look on RT, you see a certain save the planet type of talk. And on Fox, you will hear a certain someone talking about how the left people on the left, or supposed left, are calling them fascists, or obviously indirectly speaking of RT America, or RT America's news anchors and reporters, or progressives in general, as if they were the real left, or whatever you want to call them. That right there is doublethink. Calling people out who are nowhere near real dialogue. And also if you didn't hear about what happened on the Golden Globes, some supposed comedian started talking ill of the business class or capitalists, obviously going on about how they're not authentic or hypocritical, or how they are hypocritical about how they run business. And I think this goes back to the 1984 blueprint that they're supposedly trying to realize in this reality, or in the real world, right? So what does that mean? Well, if you read 1984, there is no business class. There is only one ideology in one frame of reference. And I suppose that is what they're trying to do. Trying to bash businesses, bash these capitalists, which they themselves don't really do the things they do because they necessarily want to. I mean, obviously there is those people in business who do use business to try to realize some type of ideological fervor. But most of the time, most of these people, either if they are for that type of reality, or they're not, they have to run business. Jeff Bezos has to run his business, or Amazon has to run its business. Apple has to run its business because the people are forcing them to, whether they like it or not. And if they do like it, whatever, doesn't matter. Most of these people trying to make a 1984 reality are ideological, mostly ideological. And if they have to start their own business to do their own work and get help in bringing forth that reality, they'll do so. Just look at the president. He himself has horrible business practices, and he as well as his son-in-law and others in his circle don't even run great businesses either. Obviously, and always need help and get bailed out by banks or people they know. What does that mean? These ideological people will do anything to try and keep that path from leading to, and keep that path being the only path. Really, this is all goes back to this non-competitive environment that fascists always tend to use, right? I mean, Apple and Amazon, other companies like them, don't really compete with each other. They work together. And of course, this also goes back to why people don't have any real chance of creating a small business without connecting to one of these other businesses, whether financially or materially or whatever. It is the fascist game that all historically has been played, with a collective corporate tool set being used as a punching bag, while at the same time acting as if they know better. That's very, very interesting, that they try to play the same coin. There you go. So hopefully you guys can keep listening. I got a lot more material for you. And quite frankly, if you look at these news organizations, they are so obvious. They are so obvious and lazy, quite frankly. I would advise to not even stare at their screens. This goes with their, just don't look at them. Don't give them views, because that's what they want. Though I know that they will get their views, or they will try to trend in any single type, way, or form. But I will tell you that the only real way to challenge these people is by living by the truth and telling the truth. There's no other way. And that's just how it is right now. It's better to just tell people the truth. Even just a small truth in today's world is an amazing act, an amazing human act, to tell somebody the truth. Obviously, the truth is neither bad nor good, and I as well think the same thing about people. They're not good, they're not bad, they're just stuck in a position they feel they have to go forth in doing. So I just want to advise you to tell the truth, whether it's to your friend or something of that sort, or to a small class. It's better to just tell the truth. You'll feel better, you'll be better, and you will have the tool set to understand what the solutions will be to all this. And the only reason I mention this is because I've been noticing this for years, and they've more than likely been at this for way longer. I've noticed this since I was in high school. Every single time. I mean, you just read the headlines, and they are not telling you the full truth. They're just sitting there, staring at a camera, and reading off a teleprompter. That's just all they do. They go home and do whatever people do these days. And I'm not sure you can trust that person. That depends on you, whether you think they're trustworthy or not. But the truth is, they're more than likely not, because they work for these companies. And a lot of the times they, like I say, use doublethink. Many of these same organizations that hire these progressives work with those adversaries, supposed adversarial organizations. They hire the same people. They're the same exact people. And I don't know if they believe it, they may or may not believe it, and they'll constantly proclaim that Fox News deleted or canceled a person, so now he has to work over here to tell the truth, when none of them have ever told the full truth. There's another example. And another person I would like to talk about is this person by the name of Glenn Greenwald, a law guy who is against immigrants as well. You can look at his history. He's been proclaiming or trying to protect people who've committed violence against immigrants via an excuse, and the excuse being that if these people who committed violence against immigrants be persecuted or jailed, that it would add a precedent in legal terms that people will be persecuted for their political beliefs. I mean, how crazy is that? You're telling a judge that because of what these people believe politically, they should be allowed to commit violence. That's crazy, right? I mean, I have nothing to say. I mean, I hope you know that this is exactly what the Germans did with the Jews. So, there goes. That tells you what kind of guy Glenn Greenwald is. I'll just end this clip by saying, cell phones with the internet, more like a Band-Aid with poison on it.